Hello, I'm Claire and I'm here to help you get better at ballet. Today we are going to talk about fondus and how they can help with your jumps, in particular leaps. So it's all about the taking off from one leg, but also more importantly, the landing on one leg with control and making it safe and strong. And this is relevant in all styles of dance. I'm Claire and I'm a ballet teacher. I teach RAD Ballet, which is Royal Academy of Dance Ballet, and I've been teaching for 10 years now, and I'm just wanting to share with you my tips and everything that I've gleaned along the way from when I was learning to be a dancer, when I was a dancer, and now as a teacher. And I want to help you to help your child practice their ballet. And obviously it's quite tricky because children like to do their own thing and they don't want to feel forced. So the more we can make it like play and fun, the better. The more engaged they'll be and the more they'll feel like dancing. Yeah, you don't want to be going, right, you need to do this. It's like practicing your scales in music. It's scales, it's boring. I know it has to be done, but there are ways to encourage your children to do that. So today we are talking about the fondu. Fondu literally means to melt. So yeah, I use the imagery of like melting cheese or melting chocolate. So you get those legs feeling really oozy and stretchy. And that immediately makes the dancer use the opposing muscle groups so they build up even more strength as they're doing the work, because you've got the muscle group that's actually causing the knee to bend, but then you've got the opposing muscle group resisting, so it creates that resistance, but it also means that both muscle groups are working at the same time, and that's how we build the strength. So the fondu is introduced early doors in RAD. Literally, the really early elements will be in like pre-primary. They have an exercise called run and balance, where they do lovely little fairy runs and then they balance on one leg. And then they hop. So that's the first time we encounter hopping on one leg. And it's quite tricky. So imagine if you're hopping on one leg, yeah, your knee might wobble, this leg might wobble. It's quite tricky. So the more they can get to practice that, that's introducing that first fondu element. They don't necessarily have the control to do a lovely slow fondu at this stage, but it's introducing the concept of jumping and landing on one leg. Then we get to primary and we have our transfer of weight exercise where they're leaning from side to side onto a fondu like this. So, and lean. So they're looking for their butterfly or whatever it is they're wanting to look for, and having to control their knees over their toes as they bend that supporting leg. And it is quite tricky for children to do this. They, it requires a lot of core strength. It requires control of the upper leg to hold that turnout. Even though they're not doing drastic turnout at that point, they're still needing to control it. Even if they were doing it parallel, they still need to hold the knee, because if you try literally standing up and bending on one knee, your knee will naturally want to do this. So it takes a certain amount of control to keep that knee over that toe. In grade 1, we get almost a proper fondu when we get to our legs and arms exercise. This exercise goes like this. They're stretching this leg, but the important leg is this leg. So as they're flexing that heel, this knee is having to bend. And it's quite tricky not to kind of let that wobble. And it's quite tricky not to just plonk the heel down. They actually need to hover the heel over the floor. So if your child is grade 1, get them to practice imagining there's a marshmallow on the floor, and they're not going to squish the marshmallow, they're just going to touch the marshmallow as they're doing that movement. And again, they need to think of really switching their tummy muscles on. So imagining a diamond in their belly button. That's a tip I heard from a fantastic dance teacher recently. I love that expression. Or I imagine sometimes a little pixie inside holding onto their tummy to keep it nice and strong. And they also need to use the back of their legs to hold that turnout. Even though I said it's not a lot of turnout, they still need to hold it so that knee doesn't waver back and forwards. If your child is in grade 2, that's when we get the official fondu, okay? And when I teach this, or when I get children to practice it, I get them to hold something first, and literally we start in third position. Actually, I'll start with my right leg in front. In third position, they'll be holding something, and we do a bend, then the peel, and replace it, and up, yes? So you're imagining bending both knees, because what can happen is they can just do that, and they're not bending the supporting leg, and that's the important leg. So you have to go bend and up, and then they reverse it. That's quite tricky. So even just getting this, they might need to hold on to something. And they're peeling those feet. Can you see I'm bending those toes backwards? I'm drawing the ball of my foot in and keeping that little toe in contact with my supporting leg as I peel it off the floor. Imagine licking the floor with your foot. Imagine the floor's made of chocolate, but they do need to bend this knee as well. And again, that takes quite a lot of core strength to stop the wobbles. And that's the first official fondu exercise in the RAD technique, in the RAD syllabus. Okay, so that's a really tricky one to practice. Eventually they do it with arms, so the opposite, as you're bending your right knee, for example, your left arm comes forward and then you come centre for the both feet being on the floor, and then you bend the other arm and leg up, and that practicing that will give them so much strength. And again, you can use imagery, so they can imagine they're hugging a big teddy bear and then opening up and hugging the teddy bear again and opening up. Even at that age, they're a little bit older, but they'll still really respond really well to imagining things like that, or a big beach ball, and they're scooping into the sand with their foot. So that's quite a good one to practice. When they get to grade 3, that's when it gets officially put at the bar, and they bend and they actually extend their foot. So they're at the bar. And in grade 3, they go the bend and stretch and bring it back in and replace it. So that's giving a much more academic version of the fondu, almost how we do it in our more grown-up classes. And then obviously each class progresses beyond that. But today I'm talking more about grade 3 and under, just because those are the ages where you guys, your parents, will be getting involved with helping your children practice. So if you're helping your child practice this, there are a few fundamentals to look out for to help them. First of all, they do need to bend the supporting knee almost as much as they're bending the knee that they're lifting, okay? They need to keep their core nice and strong, so find any kind of way of getting them to think about holding their tummy strong, not holding their breath and not going with all their ribs splayed out, but thinking, switching the core on like someone's going to tickle them on the tummy, and making sure that core's nice and strong so they don't sort of wobble. And also keeping the knee over the toe, so again they're not twisting their knees. And to get that resistance. So again, with children, you don't really want to be talking about the mechanics of opposing muscle groups. They'll be like, what are you talking about? With children, generally, if you tell them to imagine the gooey cheese on a pizza, or like chocolate fondue, and they're dipping the fruit in their leg, and it's all stretchy and gooey and oozy and yummy, that will really work for them. That'll help them get that lovely squeeziness going on. And yeah, making it fun. At the end of the day, we learn more when we're playing. And we learn quicker when we're playing. So if you can keep it quite fun, they'll enjoy it. So what I've gone through. So the reason we do fondus is because it helps us with landing and taking off from one leg. So it makes those lovely leaps really strong. Or if you're doing ton leves, where it's just step and a hop in any position, it makes those really lovely and strong. And it's not just about the getting off the floor, it's about the landing safely and strongly, so that you have control and you look spectacular even as you're landing, not going, okay? We've talked about where the fondu is introduced in the RAD grades. Obviously, if your child is doing Imperial and Vaganova or Cicchetti or any other grade, it will vary slightly. However, the fundamental technique of a fondu, as in you need to use that resistance, peel that foot, and coordinate both legs stretching together, those fundamentals will be across the board. They're core elements to how you make a fondu nice and strong. We've talked about the fundamentals of it. So we've talked about making sure the knee is over the toe, talking about making sure you feel that resistance, and talking about peeling that foot as well, getting that lovely articulation of the foot. Basically use every opportunity to peel and articulate that foot. So in a tonju we do the same. When you're peeling the foot for a développé, it's the same movement. So every opportunity we can have to peel that foot is really good for building up strength in the intrinsic muscles in the soles of the feet. And we've also talked about how to help your child practice. So using a chair for support to start with, so they're not having to rely too much on their core and their turnout, and then gradually you can do it relying on the chair less and less. How to practice maybe doing the plie first, so keeping both feet flat on the floor first, then as you bend you then start to peel the foot and replace it, or stretch it and replace it. And then gradually you can sort of extend that so that they're peeling as they bend. So not going bend, then peel, they're then going peel and bend at the same time. And that introduces the next concept where you're going to be thinking of like coordinating the movement. I mentioned very briefly that you're going to want to stretch both legs at the same time. So my last demonstration, I start off literally just teaching the plie, and then you plie, then peel, replacing it, and plie and peel, replacing it, and then you go plie, peel, and stretch. And can you see with that stretch, this leg's going slightly faster than this leg. I delay this leg slightly so they get there at the same time. That's quite important. That's kind of next level, but it is fundamental to your fondu so that you're coordinating everything, so everything comes together, so you have amazing jumps at the end of it. And the more you do this, and the more you encourage your children to do this and play with it and get that lovely resistance, they will build up the strength in their legs and the core and the holding of their turnout to have lovely fondus, and as a result, they will have lovely jumps. Thank you very much. If you want to dance with me, I know I teach children live on site. So if you're Medway based, yes, lovely, drop me a line and we will find the perfect class for your little one. If you're an adult, we do have online classes. So you could be anywhere in the world. And I teach my adults with equal in-depth focus on technique. Yes, they're fun classes, and yes, it's not boot camp, but it's, I do think people like to strive to be better at what they do. So I give you tips throughout the class. And we have bridgeballet.co.uk will help you check out all our classes. But if you know you'd rather do it on your own, at home, at your own time, we have the bridgeballet.club. And this is where you can do any of our classes. We do have a beginners section now, and we have all our adult ballet classes regularly updated, and you can enjoy a class anytime you like at bridgeballet.club. So do pop along to those places. Also, if you like this video, do let me know how you get on. Let me know how your little one gets on, and hopefully their fondus improve and they start having lovely jumps and they feel super strong. Pop comments below, or do subscribe, let your friends know, share the video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.